Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Trevor. Really grateful to have you here. And today is a weekly rotation video, so just reviewing and recapping what my fragrance wardrobe looked like for this previous week, just about the first week of September here. So really the true death of summer in some sense, where I'm at least. We had the last couple of 90-degree days at the start of the week, and things have been tapering off into the high 70s, and today we've got some gloomy rain. So get started right here with Monday last week. Went with Voyage, Eau de Parfum. Like I said, still high up in the 90s, but things are really starting to dry up a little bit, and you know, my daughter's lips have been getting really chapped, and so a lot of that kind of arid atmosphere is demanding of some dry spiciness from my palate, at least right now, and this is a perfect addition to that sort of craving. I think the cardamom in here is stunning. Very much a unisex fragrance, as many of Hermès's offerings are. Very light, artistic, and easy to wear. This one, the longevity and projection aren't the greatest. The parfum concentration makes it sit a little bit close to my skin, but the wearing experience is so enjoyable because the way that this wafts over your palate is so mouth-watering in a very floral, spicy, cardamom, sweet aspect, with a beautiful lemon in here. So like, yeah, lemon, cardamom, and florals is what this does to an exceptional degree. That was Monday Hermès EDP. Voyage d'Hermès EDP. Okay, so Tuesday, again, 90-degree weather, Cedrat Boise, the original Eau de Parfum. This, for me at least, the citruses in here are a lot more sparkly, effervescent, and you know, kind of have a little bit more breath to them with the way that the musk carries in here, as opposed to the intense version, which I'm probably going to be wearing more as the weather cools down. But the leather in that is a little bit more thick, whereas the musk in here is a little bit more dominant and cloudy and just very soft and pleasant and fresh, and was a absolute darling scent to be donning on Tuesday in that sort of, again, very hot but also dry air. So the woodiness in here played very well in this, you know, autumnal summertime transition. Wednesday, Dior Homme 2020. So I have been rocking the Dior Homme Sport 2021 because that has a little bit more of a bright, aldehydic, refreshing, almost like fizzy orange soda sort of quality to it, whereas this one leans a little bit more into the richness of the resinous qualities of the elemi that's in this, a lot more appropriate for the autumn. And Wednesday was the day where things really started to cool down. Again, it was still probably high 80s, but wasn't in the high heat 90s any longer like we had Monday and Tuesday, and so this was just an easy, dumb reach fragrance that I could put on, and I knew was going to do well in my workplace setting because it's mass appealing that way, and accented the beginning of this transitional period exceptionally well. This is Dior Homme 2020, one of my favorite designer fragrances in my collection right now. Okay, Thursday, another top designer in my collection. I still need to try the current formulation of this fragrance, but this is easily in like my top 5 of all fragrances in my collection. This is Guerlain's Heritage, the Eau de Toilette. So this is like a really nice sandalwood patchouli barbershop fragrance. You get a little bit of a similarity to Davidoff Zeno or Beau de Jour, but this has a lot more of like a warmth to it because of the patchouli and the sandalwood, and a creaminess to it. But also just such a refreshing, bright, almost like floral type component. Very optimistic fragrance, I think, is just a good word to describe this. It has a positive outlook on humanity in general. This is just the vibe that I get from this fragrance. Such a good offering. This is a vintage version with a gold cap. I think these now, like the rest of Guerlain's offerings, come in the L'Homme Ideal bottles, but this excellent stuff, incredible longevity and projection. I put this on in the morning, and I usually carry a bottle with me to reapply during the workday, but this one I didn't, and I could still smell it on me very profusely when I was taking a shower at the end of the day after like a 9-hour workday. So beast mode stuff right here, this vintage Heritage. One of my favorite scent profiles right now in this period of the year and the weather that September has to bring. Okay, Friday I usually like to wear a niche fragrance. You've probably seen this one sitting in the background here. This is Creed's Viking. I will say that the juice color in here has drastically darkened since I've only just first sprayed this about 2 weeks ago. So definitely it would seem, my experience with my Creed fragrances is that they do macerate and they do get a little bit more strength and longevity as they sit. So I know that they kind of get flack for being watered down and not lasting as long, but for me anyways, they're still one of my favorite houses out of anything that I've gotten my nose on, and this is no exception. Now I will say that this is pretty close to some extent to the previous fragrance, the Heritage. They are both sort of like very nice fine lavender barbershop style fragrances. I would probably wear this in many of the same situations that I would wear Heritage, however they are not by any means the same. This has a very much of a red, spicy feeling to it. There's a lot of pink pepper in here, and the sort of Old Spice presentation that this has is mingled in with that barbershop freshness. So for me, this is kind of like, you can think of the almost like aromatic, fresh, spicy quality that you get from Big Red chewing gum. Think of that, but instead of cinnamon, it's clove and allspice, and then you just mingle in that sensation with a really nice, pleasant lavender barbershop. I will say the only thing I don't like about this fragrance is, and we'll see how I feel about it as the weather begins to cool down a little bit more, is that there's a very like sort of powdery dry down in here, like a powdery lavender. I think maybe some vanilla qualities, but yeah, it's something I don't really care for. It reminds me a little bit of like something that I get out of some Xerjoff fragrances, but it's very small critique. It's actually not unpleasant. It's just more of like my personal taste things, but I really do adore this fragrance, and it lasts an incredibly long time. Friday, went into work at like 8 a.m. This was still kicking on my skin. Right at the end of the shift. It would definitely become a skin scent, but yeah, this lasted me about like 7 to 8 hours. So Creed Viking, definitely some awesome stuff for this the beginning of autumn. Okay, Saturday I actually got this in, and I had been waiting for a while to find a good deal on this one. Aura Fragrance got it in. I got the email, had to pull the trigger. Really glad that I did. I actually put this on as soon as I busted it out of the package, and then I threw on Mahir Legacy on the left hand and kind of wore this all around and then compared the two. And even though when I was sampling this and comparing the two, they were pretty close, the starkness of the synthetic sort of shower gel quality that's in the Latafa is like the difference in quality is a lot more apparent when I had this full bottle to rock. I will say the Mahir Legacy is a great fragrance, gets me a lot of compliments. It has probably better longevity and projection than this, but the overall creamy, smooth, bright, sparkly citruses that are in here, really glad that I ended up getting the full bottle, and I did test this first. Just such an easy to wear, a dumb reach, high quality fragrance. You do get the 125 mLs as well, which I think is really nice. And yeah, just one of my favorite niche fragrances in my collection to date. This is Parfums de Marly Sedley. Really grateful to finally get this one. Even though the summer's kind of dying down, I was a little bit of a day late and a dollar short. This is something that I can easily wear year round anyway. Very beautiful, kind of sweet, creamy lavender in here. Okay, and then for Sunday, I actually had two fragrances that I rocked, and I sort of wore them intermittently at different times during the day. I started the day off with Sultan Vetiver from Nishane. So it was very cold in the morning on Sunday. Very brisk, nice autumnal sort of chill. And this one was a perfect wear for that. It's a very dark, dense, almost ashy vetiver. This kind of reminds me of the smell of the gymnasium floor at like the high school or a skating rink after you've just got done polishing it, like, and it's got that sort of sheen on there, like on the bottle plaque. That sort of very refined, clean, sterile, almost like chemically treated wood is how this opens up, and then it starts to dry down into this almost like dry, powdery ash wood sensation, and then there's this very subtle like ambery quality way in the far dry down that gives me almost like this little bit of dried honeycomb, honey crisp, like honey sweetness. Very beautiful fragrance. It's definitely a more of a mature taste. It reminds me a lot of Guerlain's Vetiver, but more of like a yellow, dry, autumnal take with like some peppery nuances, as opposed to the sort of the tobacco and myrrh that you get in the Guerlain's Vetiver, and the green nuances and the springtime appeal that has. This is just a great grab, and I actually picked this tester bottle up for like $75, so really great quality to price ratio on this if you're a fan of vetiver, but definitely try before you buy. This is a polarizing scent. So that was how I began the day. The afternoon warmed up quite a bit. Me and my daughter actually went and took a walk at the local park, and this was a fragrance that was calling to me to match that foresty atmosphere. There's a lot of trees in the walking trails at the park. Enchanted Forest from the Vagabond Prince. Unfortunately, I believe discontinued. This is from the house that is owned by the creators of Fragrantica, and the perfumer is Bertrand Duchefort, the same perfumer who did Amouage, Jubilation Man, and many other favorites like Penhaligon's from Sartorial, Timbuktu from Les Partisans Parfumés. This is a sort of like a Hubba Bubba strawberry watermelon bubblegum, Hubba Bubba strawberry watermelon bubblegum, over the top of a very nice, dry, coniferous pine forest with a little bit of like a red wine kind of sweet, bitter tart quality to it. Really just delectable fragrance. Had such a good time catching wafts of this, mingling out through the air. Definitely an enchanting feeling. I feel like this is sort of like pixie dust in a bottle to some extent sometimes when I wear this. Unfortunately, like I said, very hard to come by. Hopefully they do bring it back, because they do still sell some other fragrances, but this one hasn't been in their catalog for a while. And then as things began to cool down again on Sunday, after I took a shower, I threw this bad boy back on and ended the day off again with this nice, beautiful, woody vetiver. And that is my weekly rotation here at the beginning of September. Let me know how your week in fragrance was going in the comments section down below. If you made it this far, please remember to leave a like. It really helps the channel out and pushes the algorithm. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Take care.